Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sim Racing Bible. Welcome to the channel. My name is Phil, and today we're in Automobilista 2. We are going to be taking a look at every single layout of the Hockenheim ring here in Automobilista 2. So that means we're going to be going right back to the very beginning with the early version of the circuit, and then progressing all the way through time up to the modern present day. And also that includes the little ancillary extra circuits as well. So we're going to do every single layout. We're going to drive it in some of the best cars to ever grace the Hockenheim ring in the past. As you can see, there's a Mercedes on the screen there, which we may well be jumping into at some point. So yeah, we're going to just drive the circuit, give a little bit of a run through of the different layouts, and just generally have some fun. So welcome along. Hope you're going to enjoy the evening with us this evening. Let's get ourselves started off and see where we're going to end up on the first time this evening. So let's transfer over to the title now. I get myself in here as well. Here we go. Right. So, first up, Hockenheim ring, the historic version in 1977, and we have a suitably 70s single-seater to enjoy this one with. So, as you can see, this is the old style of Hockenheim ring where it went out into the forest. So very, very fast indeed. So let's jump in and give this one a drive. So we're going to do some test days and just kind of show you the layouts first, and we'll probably do some racing on some of them as well, because I'm sure there'll be some combos which will just be needed to be raced on. So here we go then. Let's load in. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a good weekend so far. Please do feel free to share in the comments your favorite Hockenheim memories, the things that you enjoy from races there in the past, or your favorite layout even. Just let us know in the chat, and we'll look forward to seeing what you think. But looking forward to giving this one a try. The circuit's had a few subtle changes over the earlier years that we're going to be going through here, and then there's one major change that happens later on. So starting off then, we are in Formula Retro. Not just any Formula Retro, this one has a V12 in it, so let's go see what this thing's like. So obviously, old pit lane, we have some period-looking advertising boardings around the circuit as well. And as you can see here, you don't have pit lane exit going to the exit of turn 1, you're straight out onto the apex of turn 1. So here we go then, let's head off into the forest. V12 sounding fantastic. There's always a very, very fast race, and obviously most cars of this kind of era will try and run as low downforce as possible, but we have got some chicanes to deal with here. So this is the first of them. Quite a sweeping chicane through there. They had to put those in because it was just way too fast. So coming up towards the top end of the circuits. So the marker board's coming up. So let's go down third gear. This is where you would normally expect to find a chicane, but on the 77 version, it's simply just a long sweeping corner, which then fires back into the next straight. So need to be a bit brave around there next time, I think. Down to the next chicane. Hard on the brakes here. They're actually quite open chicanes. They're not quite as tight as some of the later ones. We'll get onto those when we get there. But again, straight back onto the straights again. Lots of slipstreaming battles to be had along here. And then we come into the stadium section, as it's referred to. It's a very fast right-hander before we come up to the Sachs curve, which is this banked left-hander. Try and feed the power in nice and gently on the exit. Ride the curbs and then come through the little S's there, and then you have this double right-hander as you head back onto the main pit straight. And there we go. That's the lap of 77 version of Hockenheim. Let's see if we can take it a little bit quicker. And obviously the first corner a little different to how we see it in modern day as well. It's a little bit more rounded apex rather than coming to a point. So you can't quite take it as fast as the current version. Might have to extend the gearing a little bit right up on the red line here. So braking about 200. Chuck it in. So good. Hey Raymond, welcome along. He says, hi Phil, hope you're well. Enjoyed yesterday's video of Interlagos, ready for some Hockenheim action. Yes! Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, we did release a video yesterday for Race Room of the new Interlagos circuit. Oh, it's so quick through there. We might not be able to do as much of a tour of Hockenheim because the limits in AMS2, but I can certainly give you all the rundown on the layouts. Cross skating down to third gear. Oh, that's quite a nice chicane actually in this version. You can take quite a bit of speed through there. So here we've obviously got grass on this side here. On the later versions you'll notice there's a little bit of extra tarmac there, but a much wider entry available into this right-hander as the years progress. This stadium section hasn't changed an awful lot actually from this version to the later one. Nice little slide out of there. Balance the throttle. Here we go. Up and ready to go into another lap. Down to third for first corner. You can see you've got those really kind of basic catch fences on the exit of turn 1 there to try and slow cars down if they go off. Quite dangerous as well actually, but yeah, definitely very period. So yesterday we released a video of Interlagos. If you haven't seen it, go check it out after we've streamed this evening. We do a virtual tour of the circuit, taking all the sights, see some of the things the designers have put in there which you don't necessarily see if you're just doing a lap of the track, so feel free to go give that a watch. And if you like that kind of thing, let me know, because I'm quite happy to do a series on behind the or beyond the track. There's an idea I've got coming up, so we'll do a series of videos just taking a look around the rest of the circuit. You can do that for all sorts of different tracks on Race Room, iRacing, etc. So something to look out for in the future. The thing with these versions of Hockenheim which have the long straights, you can't afford to switch off, because if you're driving something like this, you're arriving into the chicanes at quite a high speed, and very easy to get caught out and not slow down enough. And by that stage you're off on the grass and you're gone it. More of the primitive catch fencing on the outside of the Sachs curve there. Ready to snag any wayward cars as they get flung off into the scenery. That's fun. Sliding the car through there. Alright, so that's the 77 version of the circuit. As I said, we're just going to go through and check out the circuits as they are, just on testing mode, and then we'll jump into some races afterwards as well. So that's the 77 version, which is quite cool. I do like the kind of smooth end of the circuit rather than having that chicane at the end. It's quite nice. It's kind of flowing through there and then firing back down the other side. So that's cool, good stuff. And we know the guys at Riser do a really good job of the historic versions of these tracks. And obviously, you know, there's very limited resource available now to base their kind of graphics on. You have to go off old video footage and old imagery and things, and not always easy to do, but they do a really good job of the classic stuff. Okay, so that's the 77 Grand Prix circuit. Now we move on to the 1998 version, but I think what we'll do is we'll do the Grand Prix version first, and then we'll do the short version after that. So 1988. What do you reckon we need here? I reckon this is calling for some Group A action, I think. So let's, where are they? Lost them. They're in here somewhere. It's the German group. I was looking for Group A. There we go. So let's grab the Mercedes 190E, I think, for this one. And yeah, go again. So this is slightly revised in terms of the extra chicane at the very end. Everything else should be fairly similar, I would have thought. Maybe some difference in the advertising hoardings around the circuit. Maybe curbs slightly different, but we'll find out. Go have a look. Marty's here. Welcome. Cheers, says Marty. Hope you're well. Everything's going good for you. Raymond says, like the long layout a lot. Took some time to get used to the actual one. I mean, the current one, yeah. The old one is, for a lot of people, that is Hockenheim, the really fast layout. It was, you had the two circuits on the Formula One calendar, which you had Monza and then you had Hockenheim, both of which were the really fast, high-speed, low-drag, slipstreaming type races. So it's a shame when they removed that. I'm just going to actually check before we get on pits here. I'm just going to put it on slick, just to make absolutely sure. Right. Let's go back. Go again. Right. So Marty says, picked up the Revenger from VRC today. What's that, Marty? I don't think I've come across that. VRC, I know they do... They do mods for Assetto Corsa, don't they? Not quite sure I've come across the Revenger before. Have to have a look. Check that out. Okay, so first change. Pit lane exit. It's no longer into the apex of turn 1. It now takes us through turn 1 and deposits us on the exit on the other side. So, first change to notice. Let's get the 190E's engine singing down this big long straight. Probably only 5 gears as well on this one. There we go, coming down to the first of the chicanes once again. Now this time we have some tyre stacks, quite a few of them actually, and they've really tightened up this first one in comparison. It's a very different profile. I much prefer the fast flowing ones actually. I mean, it slows you down enough to make it so that the flat out sections aren't maybe quite as fast, but doesn't really ruin the rhythm. So let's see what this next one's like. So this is the new chicane that we haven't experienced yet, and this is slightly different because it takes you over this way and then a quick flick through a very short, sharp chicane before rejoining the big curve at the end of the circuit. Bit of a clumsy little chicane, that one. It's like threading a needle through there actually. So we'll have to see what it's like when we approach it at full speed and with full bravery. Right, what's this one like? Okay, that one's a little bit more like the 77 version. Do love the variety in the trees as you come down here. It's not just like you're seeing the same tree over and over again. There's actually some nice differences in there, so makes it all the more natural feeling. Right, down into the stadium section. Here we go. Into the banking, try and use all that camber advantage, even though the rear end of the Merc is quite slippery. This is very slippery, in fact. The Merc's always been one of the more difficult versions of the two of the Group A cars. The BMW M3 seems to be a slightly nicer car to drive. The Mercedes 190 is a little bit more of a loose cannon. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Riser guys do. Hopefully they can apply the new tyre physics to the new Group A cars, and that might help with some of the wild handling, hopefully. So Funky's here. Welcome, Funky. Only the vintage death versions of this track count. Yeah, these ones are pretty wild versions. Down to this really tight first chicane. Get it slowed down more than that. Marty's got 24 Le Mans on the TV and me on the desktop. Oh, double timing this evening, Marty. Yeah, I don't blame you. There is some small race going on in France at the moment, so I wouldn't wouldn't blame you if you were watching that as well, or instead. But thank you for joining us, even if you do want to watch Le Mans. That's such a tricky little chicane. I'm going to have to give that another go just to try and get that right. Do love the sound of this thing with the naturally aspirated engine shouting away. Use all this curb on the inside here, and again there. So that's a much nicer chicane to drive through than the other two, anyway. Just because you can use a little bit of that curb, and you've seen images of the DTM cars just hopping over curbs around Hockenheim, and it's really so cool to watch. So good to try and replicate some of that in here. Alan, welcome. Good to have you with us. Get that rear end in check. There we go. Use the outside curb as a little bit of a berm there to stop us from running off onto the grass. Literally just leaning on the tyre all the way through there. That was fun. Right, turn one then. So again, similar profile to the 77. Just a nice rounded apex curb. There's a bit of gravel. That's not the ideal run down the straight, we'll be honest. Okay, here we go then. Let's try and get the car stopped this time for the first chicane, which is super, super tight. So here we go. Don't know where we braked last time, so it's just going to be a case of braking earlier than that, whenever that was. So here we go. Probably about 250. Slam the brakes on. It's quite deceptive with all the other little bits of tarmac and the tyre stacks there. Oops. Right, let's spin this around. Although I do think something tells me the wheel is not pointing particularly straight, which means our rear end is probably not happy. Oh well, we're going to get a chance to attack that other chicane. We'll come back to that. So that's the 88 version of Hockenheim with the additional chicane at the end. Let's go take on the short version of it. And for this one, I think we'll switch to the M3 as well. So we'll do Group A around this layout. That's their kind of era. Although we should have done Group C around there really, but that's okay. Group A will work. Let's do the E30 and we'll go to 1988 short version. So this time we don't go off into the distance into the forest. This one is purely limited to the stadium section. So let's load in and give this one a go. Much shorter lap, only 1.6 miles. But bit more action-packed because there's more corners involved and they come at you a lot quicker, so you don't get time to fall asleep on the on the long straights around here. But yeah, I mean, okay, let's be honest here. Most people aren't really a massive fan of chicanes. So if you're not a fan of chicanes, you might not like the old Hockenheim that much. But I do feel that the previous version, the 77 one, is actually, they're not really chicanes, they're just kind of just flowing corners adding to the overall feel. So here we go. Funky's having a good evening by the looks of things. Alright, so short version. So coming out of the pits. So rather than heading off down the straight, I'm going to cut right. And then we come through this middle section behind the paddocks here. And then we're going to get hard on the brakes as we come around this left-hand kink. Straighten it up, brake in a straight line, because we're going to be turning right here. Back end's trying to come around on me, and then we're instantly into the stadium section. So the DTM did switch to the short version of this circuit, as well as using the Grand Prix loop in the past. So I remember the mid-90s DTM cars with like the Calibre and the Alpha and things were running around the short circuit. It's also a bit more of a testing circuit as well, so you could actually dial the car's setup in. As of course you're looking to try and harness a low drag, low downforce setup, in which case you could probably use the full one. And you're instantly into the next corner. It's very similar to the second corner of the modern version of Hockenheim, actually. And there's a sweep around here. And hard on the brakes. But this right-hander is actually, I was going to say, deceptively fast. Can't take quite as much through there as maybe I thought I could, but Group A cars all over the place at the moment. You're literally in one big slide driving these things around here. Yeah, the E30 is definitely the nicer car to drive, that's for sure. This is so good. Right, let's go for another one. This thing really does get up high into the rev range. That's a missed apex. Oh. So what I mean about being action-packed, you literally are non-stop around here now. Whereas before you had a chance to gather your thoughts down the straights. No more, you have to constantly be focusing and on your game. That wasn't meant to be a pit lane entrance, but my left rear is cooked. Okay, so that's the short 98 version. Let's progress onwards. Let's go through time even further. So next up should be a bit of a jump in time, I think. So that's 1988. Now we move forward to 2001. So main difference here between 1988 and 2001 is the end chicane is slightly different. So you can see on the track map here, you have that kind of cut in and then flick through like a bus stop type thing. Oops. But the 2001 version has, you keep on the same curve on the outside, but then cut down and through. So we're taking that one, and this time we're going to go in something which is probably a little bit too early for it, because 2001 was the year when this particular track layout, the long one going into the forest, was actually changed into what we have today. But we're going to run the GT1 cars because they were kind of 98-ish. So that's about as close as we can get to running that kind of period. So I think for this one, we've driven a couple of Mercs and things. We'll drive the 911 around here, I think. So 2001, yep, go. So this is the final version of the old layout of Hockenheim, if you like. So let's see how this is like in the GT1s. And I did a race just recently with race department actually around here using the GT1s, and it was pretty wild. So it was good fun. So Funky says, if I can be so bold, try the Fusca on Kansai East. Really? Which one is that? The side of the circuit which has the like spoon curve and the hairpin and things, or is it the one with just the S's? I'm trying to remember which side the east side of it is. Fusca anyway is fun. Right. Let's get ourselves into first gear and put some Porsche power to good use. Okay, so as you can see, slightly updated in terms of the pit facilities. And here we go. Love the turbo noise on this thing. Good to stretch its legs once again down the straights. Although this one's got a little bit of a curve in it, so not entirely straight. Gonna hit the brakes about 200. Now this time, it's a much more wide open version, that first chicane there, and it's got some nice, slightly flatter curves which you can actually use. There's just the S's and down the straight. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's quite a fun layout, that one. So here's the new layout of chicane. So rather than cutting across, we drop off and then back up onto the banking. I always remember being surprised with that chicane when I drove it on a... I can't remember where it was. It was some version kind of later on, because I was always driving this particular circuit on Jeff Crampman's Grand Prix 2. You can see that chicane's now been tightened up as well. But yeah, so I used to drive this on Grand Prix 2 a long time ago. And that chicane at the very far end of the circuit didn't have the gradient on it, so it was just literally just flat going going through the chicane there. And when I drove it or saw that it had this huge kind of drop off the hill, I was like, no, that can't be right. But then I was basing it on Grand Prix 2, so I was, yeah, surprised to find it was a little bit different to what I was expecting it to be. So once again, the stadium section here, very much similar to how we've seen. So let's go for a flying lap. So you can see obviously pit buildings, as we mentioned, grandstands slightly changed, updated, modernised. First corner is still the nice quick variant, so you can get through there quite nicely. Right, let's get through turn 2, or the turn 2 chicane. There we go, flat out, 177 miles an hour. Use all the curb on the inside. So it's interesting, isn't it, how that first chicane went from being nice and flowing in the 70s version to really clumsy and awkward in the 80s version to being slightly more usable in the 2001 version. So that's gone through 3 revisions. There we go, drop off the top. And back out again. That's quite a nicer version, definitely nicer than the 80s version. The 80s one just seemed to be, I don't know, very stop-start in the way it does the chicanes. But this one, as we saw on the first time through, is tighter, so you have to get it slowed down a bit more. Probably second gear rather than the third through there. Speaking of third gear funkies, like it's a third gear extravaganza, the Fuskas at Kansai East. No other gears needed. And here we've got a lot more track to play with, so we can really open up the entrance to the fast right-hander and take so much speed through there as well. There we go, into the stadium section. But we know these GT1 cars are really good, and around here it is actually a really nice combo to drive these cars around here. But I'm pretty sure you can take the GT1 cars anywhere and really have a great time driving them. Well, maybe not a kart circuit, it might draw the line there, but maybe we'll try that one day, but who knows. But yeah, around Hockenheim, these cars are really great. The shadows being cast across the track. Just absolutely destroying all these chicanes and then firing out the other side with so much power. There we go. The brakes again. Alright, down to the third and final chicane. See how late we can dare break into here. Oh, that's about the limit. Got a bit of a lock-up on the way in there as well, which makes you clench a little bit. Just to make sure you're getting through that. Here we go. Down to the stadium section with 2 seconds up on our quickest time by virtue of gaining confidence. Bit of a note to say, if you are going to race the GT1s around the old Hockenheim or anywhere that has big long straights, the Mercedes GT1 is probably the one to go with. It's just got so much more top end speed, so quick in a straight line. So there we go. So that's the 2001 Grand Prix layout. Again, just some subtle differences in terms of the track furniture, if you like. The advertising boarding's changing, and then just some minor revisions to the chicane layout. So that's the 2001 version. So what else is there? I'm pretty sure there's a short 2001 version as well, I think. But we'll find out. So let's go back to the menu here. Is there... Oh, no, there isn't. Okay, so 2001, the high-speed Hockenheim is no more, and then it gets, in some people's minds, neutered slightly by going to the one we now know as the Hockenheim Grand Prix circuit, which no longer goes off into the forest at high speed. There's still quite a long, sizable straight where you can get up to a good terminal velocity at the end here, but just not quite the same. But let's go join in. Let's go do this version of Hockenheim, and then we'll get into the shorter variants as well. So now we need to modernize this a little bit. So let's take something a little bit more up to date, which would have run around here. So what should we do? We'll jump in GTE, and we'll run the 911 because we just run some Porsches, but this is something else. So here we go. This is the modern day version of Hockenheim. It's a very multi-purpose venue these days, because not only does it cater for circuit racing, of course, but you also have, as you can see on the background there, there's a drag strip here at Hockenheim, so that fires off down the straights and into the forest. But there's also, they've had a rallycross here as well, so there's lots to it. We don't have that version, unfortunately, to play with, but here we go. Some 911 GTE action. So now we have the modern day pit facilities. We have the barriers up over the side there. We have new garages, etc. Oh my word, this thing sounds amazing. And here we go, out towards turn 2. And that's where we want to go down there, but we have to turn this way. Kind of doubles back on itself, and then releases you out to the longest straight section on the circuit. And then hard on the brakes, this is the curb starts on the left to this really super tight hairpin, which we nearly missed. And then we head back towards the stadium section, but first we have another little cut through here, so we have this fast right-hander before we get on the brakes. Let's turn left here, track drops away from the apex, and then rises a little bit more before you flick off to the right. Now it's just a tarmac jungle. We used to have trees and grass everywhere, but now it's all tarmac. And then down to the Sachs curve, which now has the Sachs branding on it. Ooh, hello. Wasn't expecting that. There's some little additional tyre warming technique, that is, just to throw it sideways out of the corner. Right, so new turn 1 comes to a point. Really, you have to pick your turn-in point very accurately through there, and it's considerably faster than the old version. Just with added sausage curves to catch you out if you do cut too much. Whoops. There we go. Keep it on track. So Muddy says, top-notch work on the Interlagos video. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. It was one of those videos that seemed to take a long time to make. But it worked out okay at the end. So Frankie says, the 911 RSR 74 is simply the best car in the game. If you disagree, I'll unsubscribe and take both my friends with me. Well, maybe we'll jump into that one and we'll do some racing with that. Oop. So yeah, the modern version, okay, not everyone likes it, and I will admit that. But I do quite like the flow around here. We talk about it quite a bit on the channel, where we like circuits with flow or rhythm to them, where you can just let the corners come at you and you can just take them, and it just seems very natural. Oops. You can also tell that the stadium section has changed slightly from the 2001 version. We'll go through that next time through as well. There we go. Use all the curb on the exit there. Easy to overshoot this one as well. You've got to keep it tight so you can cut back across the left-hand curb there and straight line it all the way down the straight here. But yeah, so Hockenheim, it's very, very different versions of it in the circuit. And obviously, something like Silverstone, where you can go through the different years, you can kind of tell there's a lot of similarities there, but with Hockenheim it is quite a drastic change between the old version and the new one. But yeah, so I do like the flow of the new one, but the old one is just fun for very different reasons. Takes so much speed through there as well. It's deceptively quick through that. Not quite picking the line into there that time. Right, so the changes for the stadium section then. So before it kind of curved around here quite nicely, but it doesn't seem to go as far this way. It dips down a lot more in the middle bit there, and that's a lot tighter. There's less space available on the outside there. So whereas the previous version seems to have a single width and curvature as it goes around all those corners, the modern one seems to have little straight sections added in, so it kind of takes away some of the natural kind of movement of snaking side to side through there. So it's just me not concentrating. So that's the Grand Prix circuit, the new modern version, which is from 2001 onwards to the present day. So it's not changed since then. I believe the last time the Hockenheim Ring hosted a Formula 1 Grand Prix was 2019, which is a shame because it's quite a nice circuit. Okay, so now we move on to the shorter versions of the new circuits. This is the national layout, which cuts off a little of the straight in that really tight hairpin and has a double apex back around into the stadium, which is actually probably one of my favourite versions of the modern iteration of Hockenheim. So what should we take around here? Let's go with some Ginetta Super Cup, shall we? Let's try this one. We'll go around here. Raymond says, I'm the Fusca, Funky. You're taking the Fusca with you as well. No, you can't take that. We need that. We need that. Also, a bit of a public service announcement. You may have seen on our socials, or if you're part of our SimRacing Bible, SimRacing GP community, we have a community event coming up on Tuesday. We've scheduled some races in Race Room. We're going to be doing TCR Tuesday. So we're going to be doing, we've got practice qualifying and then 3 races around Brands Hatch GP with the TCR cars. And there's a little bit of a twist as well, because races 2 and 3 are going to be full reverse grid. So person who wins race 1 will be at the back for race 2, and whoever wins race 2 will be at the back for race 3. So there's a little bit of extra fun and games there. So if you fancy joining us for that, please do. Head over to simracing GP and find our community on there. Join it if you haven't already, and then just sign up for the race and choose your car, and then we'll be ready to go. So that's coming up on Tuesday. So hopefully you can join us for that. And on another note, with the community side of things, we will be doing a Fusca series on there as well. I just want to make sure that the lag issue is sorted before we go ahead and do that, because I don't want to do a race series and then have people have problems with cars lagging all over the place. So we will do that. So here we go. Ginetta G55 Super Cup. So once again, a lot of this is going to be very much the same as we just had, although we have got some stone cold tyres which require some warming up. So yeah, so here you'll be coming around here and sweeping off around to the left, but instead you have some cones in the way and you have to get on the brakes, turn it into the right-hander. Again, just warming tyres, and then we simply duck back into the Mercedes section here with the Mercedes grandstand ahead of you. Whoa, come on. Don't remember the Ginetta being this slippy. Let's get some temperature. Because I think with the advantage of this layout compared to the GP circuit is the chicane, the hairpin at the very end is a bit of an accident trap. It tends to be one of those corners where people just, if they miss their braking point by 1-2 meters or something like that, you'll just cause chaos going into there, because you'll be in the back of another car and then people will be spinning everywhere and it'll just be absolute carnage. So one of the beauties of the national circuit is we have all the rest of the circuit which is fine and no problem to drive, but it does cut out the added danger of having that really tight hairpin, which is a wide entrance as well, so you can literally have 3-4 cars wide going into there, all squabbling for a position, and then all of a sudden you've got to go around this really tight corner which you can't all fit around, so just pure carnage. Whereas at least that one, you haven't reached really high speeds before you get to the braking zone, and things are a little bit more civilized and orderly going into there. Speaking of which, this Ginetta certainly isn't civilized or orderly at the moment. It's all over the place. So Marty says, had great fun racing AI with the Porsche 911 at Port Newark, New Jersey yesterday in AC. Oh, okay. Awesome. And, yeah, Funky's definitely a big fan of the 911. So lots more space here as you come into the stadium section, and all of a sudden you just run out of it as you try and get through that corner. It kind of fools you into thinking you have a lot more space that you can just sweep around there and take loads of speed through it, and then you get to the exit of the corner and you've just got no room left. So there we go. At least the tyres are warming up now. We might have half a chance of getting through this lap unscathed. We're already half a second up on our previous best lap. Let's try and get this hairpin section sorted. A bit of understeer to fight with the car, so getting it into those slow corners isn't overly easy. So one of the other kind of characteristics of this circuit in the modern format is, we mentioned the drag strip earlier on, and when you get to this part of the track here, you actually do cross over the area where the drag strip uses, so you do get an awful lot of grip from all the rubber that's laid down by the sticky drag racing tyres. And then when you come off that, all that grip disappears, so you have loads of grip turning in, and then you get into the corner on that big, long, fast right-hander, and you just have a grip deficiency part way around the corner, so it's a bit of a challenge. So there we go. That's the national layout of Hockenheim. Let's go even shorter again. So what should we grab for this one, I wonder, in terms of car? We'll have to have a look. We'll save the 911 RSR for one of the historic versions of the circuit. So there's actually two variations of the short circuit for Hockenheim. We have short A and short B. So we'll start off with short A, because we'll go alphabetically, obviously. So let's find something suitable for going around here then. Should we run here? Let's do some Porsche Cup cars, I think. And yep, so short A. We'll drive this car around here. And Funky says, yeah, but you took the Corvette and kept it on the track. Only in qualifying, Funky. I did throw it off in the race. Qualifying was ace. Had no problem, but yeah. The Corvette's a bit of an animal. Okay. More Porsche power. So I've been told that these are a bit of a gem after the recent updates. So let's see what they're like. So again, similar to the short circuit that we drove on one of the earlier versions, you're very quickly on the brakes because you're turning right to cut through here. So what you can also tell the difference here is they brought the wall right up next to the track there as well. So on the earlier versions of the short circuit, we had a bit more space going into there. So just like before, very, very similar in terms of its overall layout. However, we have the more modern tires warm up. We have the more modern version, so yeah, the modern curbs and the modern runoff areas as well. So one of the key differences on the short circuit versus the older layout is when you come out of the short section and back into the start of the stadium area, you can actually use a lot more track as you go out to the left, because on the older version you would just have the grass there and you wouldn't be able to take it out quite as wide. And I warmed up the outside tyres very quickly because they're being used an awful lot more, but even so they're not warming up that quickly. So I'll show you the runoff I talked about just before as we come up to it now. So normally you would have to kind of cut through to there, but you can actually now take it all the way over here, and then that opens up the run through here much faster. This time we actually kept it on the tarmac around the Sachs curve. It's a really nasty curve on the exit there. You don't want to be going over there too often. Right, got some green on the tyre temperature gauges, so that's positive. You really are on the brakes so quickly after coming around the first corner, you're just not ready for it almost in some cases. So here we go, let's try and take this at full speed this time. Not that much speed. Heading towards a concrete barrier on the outside. Never fun. You just can't get it turned in there. It just pushes on and on and on, and then you find the curb. Right, so that's short A. Very similar to what we've already seen. Let's go into short B, which has a little bit of an extra added chicane in where you rejoin the main track. So probably won't take the 911 around there. Choose something else. What should we use? Let's use the mini challenge cars. So short B, one of the circuits which probably won't ever get used in Automobilista 2. There's so many circuits on there where you just be like, yeah, I'll go here or I'll go there. You're never really going to go, you know, I fancy going to Hockenheim short B. It's just not one of those circuits you would ever really get onto. But let's see if it's any good with some touring car type action. How funky is that? I don't know. It was more interesting when you crash, you died. Old school, I guess. Yeah, there is that added fear factor when you're on the old layouts. Definitely added to the overall thrill of the circuit, I suppose. Right. Mini challenge then. Front wheel drive, turbocharged. Let's see what we can do with it around here. So once again, same deal for the first part of this lap. Let's try and get some heat into these tyres so we have half a chance when we get to some corners. Okay, so coming up here, still goes around to the left. However, rather than cutting across there, it takes you a little bit wider out, and then you cut across and through a little chicane before you get back onto the main circuit. Now, I think that layout was actually included in GT Legends. I remember driving some of the historic cars around Hockenheim Short. I'm pretty sure that was the layout you used to drive. Hey, we kept it in bounds in that section. It's a very different kind of car to drive though compared to the 911. Okay. Warms its tyres a bit quicker too. So here we go, up to turn 2. Overheating that front left already. It's only the second lap. Right. Keep it reasonably quick around there and then hard on the brakes. Okay, not really everyone's favourite circuit. I'm going to say it's probably not going to be one you're ever really going to really want to drive, but it's there and it's available for us to drive in Automobilista 2, so it'd be a shame for us not to at least put it to some use. Wow, these tyres on the Mini are really heating up fast. Red front left tyre after the end of the second lap. Okay. Right. Well, there we go. So those, let's just go back to the menu there. So those are all the circuit layouts for Hockenheim on Automobilista 2. So let's go and see if we can do some racing on some of them. So we'll go back to historic ones. I actually want to go back to the 70s layout because I think that one's probably my favourite. Just really nice to drive. So, Frankie, your time has come. We're going to jump in the 911 RSR and oops, we'll do a race. That's what we're going to do. Let's go back, find that again. Done. The Classics 911 RSR, and we'll do All the way down to the bottom. 77. 5-lap race around there. Do the same class, so we'll get some Corvettes on the grid as well. I'm pretty sure the Corvettes will just disappear down the straights, but we'll see. Let's go. Let's go see what this one race is like, and I'm sure it's going to be fun. Right, let's see what all the fuss is about then, Funky. You've talked it up, it's going to be a good thing now, surely. It's got to be good. Essentially a Fusca, just with more power. But yeah, the 911's good. Big tyres. Let's see how we get on with this thing around here. So yeah, 5-lap race, and we are starting 23rd on the grid. So some work to do. Let's go. Right. Here we go then, ready for the green lights. And away we are. Nice rear end traction with the RSR, giving us a great start. Just thread the needle there, excuse me guys. Right, on the brakes, down to turn 1. And leave it in 3rd gear through here. The Corvette on the inside. Going off into the distance. There's a chance to wave goodbye to the Corvettes as they power off into the distance. Not getting away. No, I was going to say not getting away that quickly, but yeah, I guess they are. 3 wide ahead of us. We're also in a bit of a 3 wide sandwich here. Wow, he's a brave one going up the inside there. We've got the run on him off the exit though. So the 77 version of the circuit, so obviously on a very similar layout to this, probably before they installed the chicanes, would have been when we lost the great Jim Clark in a Formula 2 race around here. Went off into the forest and was killed instantly, unfortunately. One of the greatest Formula 1 drivers of all time. Corvette's trying to come back up the inside of us into the second chicane. Ooh, contact ahead. Steady guys, it's only lap 1. One more place for us, we're up to P15 now. Sounds fabulous. Straight 6. Oh sorry, not straight 6, flat 6 should I say. Got a bit caught on the outside here, but let's keep it on the inside. Let's keep our nose a bit tidy going through there. Not really an overtaking spot, but when you have an opportunity like that, you've got to go for it. We were sliding on the exit of the corner there, and I was kind of sliding out towards the Corvette, but luckily we were both kind of heading that direction anyway. We're up into 11th now, with some good gains being made here. Chance just to breathe and take stock of the situation. We've got a bit of space around us now. Coming down towards the second chicane, no, first chicane. Let's see how much speed we can take through here with a 911. Get it hooked up on the inside. Nice curb strike on the inside. We've gained a heap of time on the guys ahead through there. Now we have 2 very wide RSRs in front of us. Let's see if we can make it 3. Get on the brakes with a very quick curve. There we go. Down to the next chicane. Just keep an eye on what's going on ahead of us here. Do love this quick version of the chicane. Go on the inside there. Bit of an unexpected cutback. We're fed onto the grass. Cut off. He's lost us some momentum. Okay. Gonna make the move up the inside into there. Marty says, suggestions for a decent TCR car for Tuesday. Well, depending on which pack you have. Do you have all the packs, or just a particular one? I've opened it up to all the TCR cars, but I think for a quick car, which we found in our TCR test live stream, the Lada was pretty quick, as well as the Lincoln Co from the 2021 pack. For a good pointy front end, the Audi's pretty good. The Cupra tends to be quite nicely balanced as well, so it's got a good all-round car, the Cupra, really. Yeah, it's entirely up to you. It depends on what kind of car you like, whether you like a longer wheelbase, more stable through the corners type car, or a shorter wheelbase, slightly more agile car. Come on, let's go. Come on, Sammy. Funky says, yeah, I think you're getting the hang of the RSR. Yep, it's quite a pleasure to drive, actually. Much more civilized than the Corvette. So now we're at the sharp end of the field. Things are starting to spread out and calm down a little bit. We're on lap 3 of 5. Oh, come on, guys. Give me a chance here. There's not really an RSR's width there, so I'll have to back out of that. Ooh, there's a hip and shoulder right there. Off throttle coming off the corner, and I ended up having to lift off as well, and that just lost a whole heap of momentum then. These guys are stopping our progress a little bit. We're in P7, but not made any improvements for a little while. That's because these guys are all over the road. AI, of course, can now make some mistakes, so you have to be ready for a little bit of action ahead of you. Okay, let's made our own gap there. Just round him up really quick as well, then we'll get on the back of these Corvettes. For a car that's got the engine over the back, it's reasonably controllable when you get it sideways as well. Ooh, it's having another run of us up the inside. There we go. Right, let's go get these Corvettes. So Marty was, yes, you're thinking the 21 Audi. Yep, that's a good shout. I mean, the Audi is nice to drive. It's got a good front end on it. Not just visually, but grip-wise as well. Come back, Corvettes. Let's try and make up some ground here through the corners. Unsurprisingly, we've got 4 Corvettes leading the way at the front of the field. So we are currently the lead Porsche. Oop, had to tap the brakes there, so that's given us an opportunity if he doesn't come across in front of us. The Corvette's a mean looking thing though, isn't it? So good. Ooh, again, more contact running into the chicane. Alright, Marty. Oh, Frank, I didn't mean to start without you, but welcome. Oof. Bit of a dive bomb at the inside. I'm going to get it stopped. Yes. Here we go, down to Sachs Curve. We're up to P4. This is where we're going to have to make it count because it's difficult to get the move done out the back of the circuit with the sheer pace advantage of the Corvette, but when you have cornering ability like this, you've got to make it pay. Those curves are brutal. Frank, where have you been, says Marty. Right, here we go. Hang on to the coattails of the big Corvette. Pull us along. Oh, Frank. Been playing with Caterhams again, have we? Right, just pulls away and then we can come right back at him again. It's got to run off here. Oop, no we can't. Yeah. Held us up on the exit. No, we're going to get overtaken again here. Oops, steady now. That's the only thing that we have that we can possibly use against them on the straight sections is any kind of momentum off the corners, because other than that, we're just going to lose out down here. But we can carry so much more corner speed and then we can't make anything of it because we have to get out of the throttle because there's a honking great Corvette in front of us. So we're going to try and at least get ourselves on the podium. This is the last lap. There's a big wall right there. We're just going to break through it. There's a gap that opened up, but let's get into that. Can we steal one more place for the win? That's way more robust than you should be on the final lap. Just putting it out there. Don't take that as any kind of example of how to how to race. That was a little bit more robust than I would normally like, but we got the win. That was fun. That was really fun. I was too busy concentrating on what was going on there. So Frankie says the Corvettes look awesome unless you're stuck behind. They kind of get in the way a little bit. Duct tape, says Marty, gets stuck on the back. Frank says, I posted to add modern radials to the RSR 74 on the official forum just as an option. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Let's see what happened with that. There we go. So there we go. It's the 77 version of Hockenheim. Little race in the RSR. And that was good. That was good. Enjoyed that a lot. Done your RSR good. Done it proud there, Funky. Right, well, where else are we going to race then? I don't think we'll bother racing any of the short versions because, I don't know, unless we get the Ginetta G40s out on them, maybe. I reckon what we're going to do, we're going to jump back into the 2001 version, but we will go back into the... Actually, no, we haven't done Group C. Let's do Group C. Do that. With its new tyre model, of course. I'm gonna regret it, but let's go with the Sauber Mercedes. This thing is a little bit of a monster with the new tyres and things. It was more drivable before in terms of you could probably get away with a lot more than you should have done, but now you can't get away with anything because it's just it's just all over the place all the time. So this should be fun. A little bit out of era, but then Group C cars have been racing in historic events from ages ago, so was counted as a historic event. Ah, P2 on the grid. That's no fun. Well, we'll see what happens. But I'm quite. Yeah, we'll let him go, and then we'll try and come back through the field. Oh no! I've had a really bad start. Look at all these cars going past me. Oh, I found a gear. Let's go. Right. Come on, little Salbert. I just love the chatter on the transmission. Oh, what a machine. Well, we've definitely got the power advantage down the straight over these Porsches. I'm going to have to get out onto the brakes. Bit of a traffic jam through the tight chicane here. That's what the tighter chicanes do, they just hold everybody up and then cause pile-ups and hold-ups going into them. Right, let's grab this Porsche on the outside, this Porsche down the inside. And then come to a standstill, almost. Ooh. Have we just damaged ourselves? Our steering is left hand down slightly. I think we may have left 200% damage on. Oop, there's a car there. Yeah, the steering is definitely not happy. Oh, listen to that on the downshift next to us as well. Funky there saying you keep doing this to yourself, you should really learn. Yeah, I know. It's a shocker, isn't it? And Phil apparently likes pain, says Marty. Yes, I do. This is the best kind of pain. Nothing like it. Also love cross-skating down the gears, so from 5th to 3rd and then down to 2nd. So satisfying. Yeah, absolutely funky. Couldn't agree more. Ooh, a bit of a wobble as we get on the brakes with our wonky steering. Oh, trying to get the power down out of there with the camber changes is not easy. Ooh. That's done it. Right. Let's restart that, but we're going to just for the sake of keeping going and having a race. I know it's not exactly realistic, but we're going to turn the damage down ever so slightly. Let's just yes, I'm 200% damage still. No thanks. Do visual only, just for the sake of this, and hopefully we get a better grid position than second. I mean, that's kind of sounds a bit off. That really, you don't want to be a better grid position than second. It's pretty good anyway, but what I mean is a bit further back so that we can enjoy having a bit of a race. It's quite fun actually coming through from the back. Just need to make sure I get my braking right. Plus, we were hampered by having our steering out of kilter, so it was not helping us in any shape or form. It's actually, the Sauber is not too bad around here because most of the time you just spend going straight. So it's not too bad. Right. Oh. Okay, well, we're fifth. Not the greatest of starts, but it's okay. Here we go. Right. Look at the power difference with the Sauber. Sneak up the inside, leave a bit of room on the inside. Ooh. The Group C cars, they just look so right, don't they? I mean, just look at her. Beautiful shape. God, these lot get into each other. All Saubers at the front. Where are the Porsches? It's not quick enough. Let's get out of that one a little bit early, just to try and gauge what's happening in front of us. Oops. And there's nowhere to go, so just sit in the tow for a little bit. It's pretty wild. AI getting away with braking on the dirt on the way into Sachs Curve. Third gear through there. It seems to bog down, but it does limit your wheel spin. I think we have a significant straight line speed advantage over the other Mercedes as well. Look at that. You're not pushing the throttle pedal. Oh no, there's a corner. Too busy goading my competitors and not actually taking the corner. We'll give the place back. It's only sporting. Right, this time we'll stop for the chicane. Saw the little arrow come up on the inside, so knew that one of the other cars had made a bit of a move. They seem to be much better on the brakes, but just don't have the same pace in the straight line for some reason. Very strange. And now with a bit of space on track, we can at least focus on trying to drive this thing as best we can, rather than just surviving. So when you go through there with second gear, I was just kind of quiet for a moment, just kind of concentrated just to make sure I didn't endure a nasty bit of snap oversteer, but we survived. Right, here we go. Once again, get the run down the straight. This time, get it stopped. That's the plan. Alright, so the 300 board, out now. so twitchy. Well, we got through the chicane though, so that's a bonus. Right hand just desperately holding onto the steering wheel because it's being ripped out of my hand left, right and centre. Or the potential's there to do so. Evening Mitsu, welcome along. How's the stream going? It's going good. We're enjoying a bit of fun around Hockenheim. Some very, very nice cars indeed. Nice and smooth on the throttle. Don't want to go too mad. But absolutely love this car. It's just so good. I know we had a bit of an issue with it around the Nordschleife, but then that kind of track is always going to unhinge a car like this. But around here, it's absolutely fantastic. But again, with the new tyre model as well, it's so progressive in the way it feels when it does go sideways, which it does quite often. But you can actually just balance the car on the tyres, and in general, recover it. But also that feeling of the tyres loading up as well. It's really, really good. So penultimate lap, so one more after this. Get it hooked up through the chicane. It's a bit of a debate here as to whether you can or not go over this line. It doesn't penalise you for doing so. And normally, if there is some track limits abuse going on, you get the message coming up saying that race director says that lap time has been disallowed, but it doesn't seem to happen when you go over that line into there, which means you can really take an awful lot of speed through the right-hander. See there, just lighting up a little bit on the rear, slight little bit of oversteer kicking in, but able to just apply some quick opposite lock, one-handed as well, and just bring it back in line again, just nicely controllable. Here we go then. Big old wheel wobble going into there. So for instance, yeah, you'll even take the Group C round the Nord rather than challenge my time in the Fusca. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm going to take on that challenge. Not scared, honest. So here we go. Last time into the final chicane. Fighting it on the brakes into there. So Frank says the 88 layout at the second chicane you can cut like nobody's business, no track limits warning at all. Ooh. Yeah, the 88 one's a bit of a funny layout really. of a slide to finish the lap off, and there we go. Over the line. A nice, nice gap to the second place guy. Just love the transmission chatter on this thing. And the popping and banging as well. Oh, what a car. Right. So that's a race around the 2001 layout. So, yeah, that layout and the 77 are my two favourite historic variants of Hockenheim. They have the best flow, and yeah, really works. So highly recommended. Dolrose here. How you doing? Welcome along. Good to have you with us. Right. So I think, yeah, definitely the most fun is to be had around the historic versions of Hockenheim. But we'll do a race around the modern one because this is a celebration of Hockenheim. We can't leave the modern one out. So let's find something suitable for running around here. I think, seeing as the Formula One World Championship is not going to Hockenheim, and they're not going to have the opportunity to experience the latest ground effect versions of the car, let's take the Formula Ultimate Gen 2 for a 5-lap race around modern Hockenheim. If you think the Sauber Mercedes was fast, things are going up a notch now. So we have some tyre compounds to choose from here, and it's only a 5-lap race, so I think we're going to have to go with some softs. Until imagine losing it in the last corner. Yeah, I know, that'd be highly embarrassing. But thankfully, we kept the Sauber in check and came home for the W. So I do love that. I mean, I think Hockenheim itself. Why are we in P2 again? Hockenheim itself works the old version with GT1 and Group C beautifully, and yeah, as we saw, the 911 RSR as well. So those cars, very, very fun. Okay, so we're starting from P2. All right. Not to say that we will stay there, because I'm pretty sure something will go wrong. Here we go. Because what I was actually wanting to do was start from the back. So there is our handy excuse. Let's go get them. It's alright, we'll catch up with them as they have their slow moment through turn 2. So, GSAM Dad's here, welcome. Hockenheim is so good, all the variations are subtly different, but all flow really well. So Frank says, have you been on every track layout? How about the 60s F1? I don't think there's a 60s version of Hockenheim. I'll have another check, but... Right, let's try and get our heads into gear with this insanely fast Formula Ultimate Gen 2. That's all the track limits on the exit. Oh, don't know how they took that so quick. Okay. Well, we've made one place up from the back of the grid. And precisely what I said I didn't like about that hairpin. Sending it 3 wide into there and then trying to get it stopped. Oops, that's not getting it stopped either. Why are you braking in front of me? Right, well, we'll try and get these two AlphaTauri lookalikes again. Where's my DRS button? There it is. DRS is wide open. You can't race that because the AI, their brakes are so good that you just have no chance of stopping behind them. Fun car. Just not the easiest to race around them. Let's try something else. We'll do another race at the modern version, but maybe not that one. Right. Let's try. What should we try? Let's go with another. Let's go with another German favorite. Let's just do the pro car, shall we? We'll run that one around here. Marty says that car hurts my brain a bit. Yeah, it does. Everything comes up at you really fast, so you just can't concentrate. Dora says, I think it would be nice to have the first version of Hockenheim in the sim. 1932 was huge even compared to the 70s version, basically just public roads with some forest. Yeah, I mean, the old versions of tracks were just public roads, just conditioned for racing. I mean, for example, Spa as well, which I think we're getting an old version of Spa as well, hopefully. But yeah, they were just danger everywhere. Like I said, it's probably a 67 car around the 70s Hockenheim. Still intense and fun, yeah. Murdered by corner, every corner, yeah. We're still starting at the front, P5, but okay, fine. Let's run with it. M1 Pro car. Who doesn't love a good M1 Pro car? Now we're in straight 6 territory. Nowhere near the grip of the Formula Ultimate, as you'd expect. So Frank says the M1 needs the new tyres badly. Yes, you do very much tell the difference when you jump into a car which doesn't have the new tyre model. A lot more sliding across the track surface. But at least none of the bad rear-ending nonsense that we had before. Well, not yet anyway. M1 Pro car does it for you as well. Second only to the RSR and the Fusca, huh, Funky? Once you get the thing balanced, it does flow very nicely. What was I saying about rear-ending issues? Sorry. That's what you get for trying to brake at the same time as the AI. They're all going to gang up on me now. Taking out their friend. No, stop. Oof, there you go. Let's go chase down that leader. If we can. We've got to keep it on track as well, though. Definitely seem to have a bit more pace through the final part of the lap. Flowed him right out of the race. That's right. Grab that flow. Flow this. It's just literally just pick an angle in the opposite direction and hold it there. So, Busker 1, Procar 2 and RSR 3. The RSR's slipped. Who's your favourite car in the game before? Right, we are gaining back on the leader again. Quick through that. I think once this thing gets the new tyre model, it will simply be unstoppable. Here we are, gaining back up with him. Let's try and keep it clean, shall we? And the driving too. Here we go. Try not to take out the leader, that would be most improper. Well, that everybody was a sausage curb. Completely ripped the wheel out of my hands. And all that ground is lost once again. Right, big slide out of there. Let's try and reel him back in again. It's getting increasingly slidey from the rear end. It's my own fault for enjoying myself too much. Right, we're back with him. The final lap then. What can we do? Can we grab another win? Ooh, leader had a bit of a slide then. Yeah, rear temps are getting right up there, cooking some rear tyres as well as sausages. No! I'll try and hold them off now. I would try and drive a little neater and save those tyres, but where's the fun in that? Nearly did it. Nearly threw it away on the final corner, but nice celebratory slide. Let's watch that bit again. This is the last lap, in fact, so let's just take in some lovely sounds. Don't need the standings or anything like that. Hello? Why is it not letting me get rid of that now? Oh well. That's fine, we'll watch it like that. It's the howl of the straight six. It's so nice. Typically running too deep into the hairpin. Got away with it though. Just love the look of the M1. It's just got that lovely low profile and that kind of angular look. It's so cool. And the big rear wing on it. Would love to have seen a full grid of them in period as well, just to hear the noises of them coming through. Just being incredible. Right, it's coming up to the last corner, and our big celebratory oversteer moment. And there we go, across the line. So that pretty much sums up our celebration of Hockenheim. Just to round things up a little bit. So obviously it's a DLC track in Automobilista 2, so it's not necessarily part of the base content. You'd have to pick it up as part of the DLC. But for us, or for me, I think favorite versions are the 77. Love the smoothness of it all, and then the 2001 version as well is the best of the ones with the 3 chicanes on it. Love that too. I mean, the modern Grand Prix circuit, yeah, okay, it's not everyone's liking, but I do quite enjoy driving it as well in some of the more modern stuff. But yeah, the many faces of Hockenheim over the years, and it's a joy to drive in some of the period stuff. And we're so fortunate with Automobilista 2 to have not only a variety of stuff in terms of tracks and cars that we wouldn't normally have in a sim, but also the opportunity to drive some historic variants of iconic tracks with some of the most incredible historic cars as well. So really, really good combinations there. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed our look at Hockenheim this evening. if you haven't yet, as I mentioned earlier on, if you haven't yet seen our track review of Interlagos, go check that out for Race Room. And also, if you fancy joining us on track, Tuesdays are your night because we are doing our community race on Race Room. We're going to do TCR Tuesdays, running 3 races around Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. So come and join us for that on SimRacing GP. And we will be doing some more community races very soon as well with Automobilista 2, with the Fusca series coming very soon as well, hopefully. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed joining us this evening in our look at Hockenheim. Thank you for your company as always. You guys are amazing supporters of the channel, and especially as Le Mans on right now, you could easily be watching that and just completely ignore me, but you chose to be here. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this evening. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and enjoy Le Mans and whatever else you have planned. But until next time, we'll see you very soon, and hopefully we'll see you on track on Tuesday. But until then, bye-bye for now.